As the sunshine begins to break through here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, a new era for TCR Europe dawns. Today is Championship deciding day. My name is Paul Jeffrey. I'll be bringing you all of the action up here in the box as we look to crown a brand new champion in what has been one of the most competitive TCR Europe seasons in memory. It's been a fantastic year of motor racing. It's a sad time that we have to come to a conclusion now, but we are set fair for a mammoth challenge. 5 drivers come into this one with only one choice. Eyes on the prize, race victory, championship deciding day. Well, welcome along, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. If you saw the racing yesterday, you'll have a little idea of what we've got ahead of us. And one thing is for sure, it is going to be a sensational motor race to round out a sensational 2025. Round number 6, race number 2 at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. And we are ready to go racing. So let's have a look before we start as to what the year has been like so far up to this point. Well, we started off with all of these drivers having been previous champions. Franco Girolami, the last of which in 2024. There'll be a new champion this season as Franco isn't on the grid, and that championship went through these racetracks to get to this point. We started in Portimao, then the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, Hockenheim in the rain, Misano in the fading light, Red Bull Ring last time around, and now back once again for the 7th time to this wonderful track. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, 4.657 kilometres in length, 14 turns, 6 to the left and 8 to the right, and a brand new track record as achieved by Ruben Volt, a 1 minute 50.073. It's a track that we know well, it's a track the drivers know well, and it's a track that Mr. Neil Cole knows very well indeed, and he's down there on the grid to talk us through some of the stories before the race.
And we are in the same kind of conditions that we had in qualifying yesterday. In the shade, the track temperature is about 15, 16 degrees, but out there where the sun has started to warm up the tarmac, it is up to about 22 degrees. So conditions that they have to be able to contend with. Now we have here Jimmy Claret is here in the middle of the grid. Teddy is on the front row. They'll maybe work together. But these two, so those two teammates, important for the team's title. But also we have Eric Genet, who came here yesterday, leading the championship, and he's now moved slightly down. So as we come over here, we can see if we can get a word with our new series leader, Jensen Brickley. If I can just dive in and have a word. When you came here this weekend, did you imagine you'd hit the final race of the season as sort of driver's title contender at the front, at the top?
Obviously we knew it was going to be close, and we didn't know what was going to happen, and obviously like we saw yesterday, that anything can happen in a race. So yeah, I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told you yesterday, and we're just going to try and go forward. If we can get to Teddy, we will, but yeah, we can only do what we can do from here.
And it's super tight. I can't remember if I've been in this situation before where 5 drivers are that close, 18 points separating you. Give us an idea of where you've earmarked possible moves around this long, fast track.
I mean, turn 1 is a good overtaking point after the toe down the straight. And yeah, to be honest, the last sector you can't really do anything. So it's all in the middle sector, really. But yeah, you've just got to be sure in these situations, you've got to make sure that the moves you are going to make are definitely going to work, and not make any half moves. So yeah, all we're going to do is get our head down, try and move forward and do what we can do.
Okay, thank you very much, Jensen. So, and Jensen's progress from TCR UK, then TCR Italy, he's gone 3rd, then 2nd. So could he be the series champion this year? Now, let's see how far up the grid we can get. One thing that's crucial to remember as well, because it's a reverse grid, absolutely the fastest driver on this track at the moment, having set the lap record yesterday, is Ruben Volt, and he's down in row 5. So he could be the disruptor in this pack, because at the moment, if nobody overtakes anyone, then Teddy Claret will be our series TCR Europe champion. Excuse me, can I just jump in? Sorry, can I just jump in for a quick word? So, Teddy, potentially you have the best view, the second best view maybe, of the entire field. What's your plan for today?
starting position is good, of course, but in TCR you never know. A lot of things can happen. So my plan is to focus on myself. Don't do any mistake. Don't have any regrets. Try to make a good start, and then we will see what's happening, what opportunity is coming or not, and that's it. I don't want to regret anything in the end.
And just give us an idea if you've done anything special since yesterday with the setup of the car, because you looked quick yesterday. You've got yourself in the best possible position, so tell us about the car.
No, I think the car is okay. We find something good on it. I'm feeling good in the car. So it's only about myself, I think, to do a good job. That's it.
Now, not to put pressure on you, there's Marcello giving you a bonnet a pat. If nobody overtakes anyone, you will be champion today. So you kind of got to hope that everyone plays safe, right?
Yes, but I don't think that nobody will overtake anyone in this race. So I don't want to. Of course, I have to keep an eye on what the others are doing, but the most important thing, I think, is to do my race, and in the end, we will see what is the result.
And finally, before I let you go, because I'm being kicked off the grid, have you got a plan with the team and with Jimmy, to work together, or is it every man for himself?
If we have to help each other, of course we will. But the plan first is to do the start and see after first few laps where are we, and then we will see and we will have to deal on. That's it.
I think it's the same for us as well. We're all watching and doing the maths. Good luck. Bon courage.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'll let someone else shut his door because I don't want to touch the car in case I break any rules. Well, that's it. What an exciting race we have ahead of us here, and that is the view down to turn one into the sunshine here in the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. So take it away, Paul Jeffrey.
Neil down there on the grid as always. There's tension. You can't see it on the camera, you can't hear it through the microphone, but honestly, when you're here in person, you can feel the tension. There's an electric friction in the air for these drivers. A big day for almost every single one of them. Right then, let's have a look at the starting grid. It is Youngsung Park that'll start from pole position. Teddy Clary alongside him on the front row of the grid. Lining up on row number 2, René Kirchhoff, ALM Motorsports, with Janui Park alongside Solite Indigo on both front rows of the grid. Position number 5 goes the way of Jimmy Clary. Alongside him is Eric Genet. That's going to be interesting to watch off the start for sure. Row number 4 is headed up by Jenson Brickley alongside Felipe Fernandez. Very robust in the race yesterday. Will he repeat it for race number 2? Row 5 goes the way of Ruben Volt in the number 27, and in 10th position it is Gabriele Corvini for the BRC Racing Team squad. 11th place goes to Victor Anderson. Max Hart alongside in 12th. Row number 7 is made up of experienced Italian Nico Baldan, Marco Butti having a nightmare from 14th, an opportunity to move forward. Sam Laidlaw will start in 15th position, Giacomo Gamande alongside in 16th place. Sam, having had a hastily repaired car, may be in strife in the upcoming race. Raphael Fournier is 17th, Nick Taylor will start a disappointed 18th position for PMA Motorsports. And then we head down to row number 10, and that's headed up by Steve Laidlaw for Area Motorsports, with Filippo Barberi alongside in 20th position. 21st place will go the way of Diamond Trophy competitor Sandro Palatti. Giacomo Prandelli will keep him company in the Icoa Racing Audi in 22nd position. 23rd is Gary Kwok for ALM Motorsports. Julian Brichet will line up in 24th. And last of the cars that make the race on this occasion, Victor Fernandez, unfortunately, and Jacob Jimenez, unable to get their cars repaired in time to join the second and final race after a terrifying accident, it has to be said, on the start-finish line at the beginning of the race yesterday. Speaking of beginning of races, folks, are you strapped in? Are you ready? Do you have a comfortable seating position and a beverage to hand? It might be early in the morning, but the pressure rises now because we are ready to go racing for the final time, the last dance, the last opportunity for our TCR Europe 2025 field of drivers to show the world just what they are capable of. Coming into this one then, Jenson Brickley leads the Drivers' Championship, 188 points. 5 back is Teddy Clary, and a further 1 in arrears is Eric Genet. 6 points covering our top 3 drivers. 4th position is Jimmy Clary, 15 points back from Jenson Brickley. And then the last of our mathematical contenders is Marco Butti, 18 points away from our championship leader. But as mentioned, for Marco, down there in 14th, having carried mechanical issues all the way through the weekend, it may be a bit of a stretch for the young Italian driver in the 111 MM Motorsports Honda Civic to get himself up to the sharp end of the grid. We also saw at the top of the show that it's a new lap record for Ruben Volt, achieved yesterday. Ruben is going to be starting all the way down there in 9th position. Expect that car to charge its way through the pack over the course of the race because, to be quite frank, Ruben has looked very much like the form man here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. 0.5 of a second plus in qualification was the gap between second place and then multiple seconds in race number 1. In fact, he sort of backed off towards the end, he was telling me yesterday. So Ruben Volt is very, very quick indeed this weekend. Right then, we've talked about it, but let's have a look at it on our screen. Let's take a look at these championship standings coming in to this final one. There we go, that is confirmation of Jenson Brickley's lead from Teddy Clary, Eric Genet. Let's remember, Jenson Brickley starting this one 7th on the grid. Teddy Clary in 2nd position. Jenson as well behind Eric Genet. His teammate and championship rival Jimmy Clary will start in 5th position. And as said, Marco Butti all the way down there in 14th is very much the outside bet, despite coming into this weekend as joint championship leader with Eric Genet. It's all change, isn't it? There's one thing about TCR racing you can guarantee, folks, and that is you can guarantee nothing. It all changes on the turn of a card, it seems, and that's exactly what we've experienced here. Ruben Volt, Max Hart out of mathematical contention now. There were 12 coming into the weekend. We whittled it down to 10 after qualifying, and after race 1, that number now, the glorious number of championship contenders, is but 5. Johnson Park then leading the field to the grid. Standing start, of course, in TCR Europe, as always. 25 minutes plus 1 lap. Racing distance for this final time. The 12th race from 6 rounds in 2025. Each and every one of them have been spectacular. Jimmy Clary opened up the scoring in Portimao. Jenson Brickley took the win as well. In Spa, it was Marco Butti and Teddy Clary. Hockenheim, Max Hart and Felice Yalmini. Mazzano, Ruben Volt, Teddy Clary. Red Bull Ring, Eric Genet and Jenson Brickley. Ruben Volt took the win yesterday. Who's going to be the final driver to etch their name in the history books and take the maximum haul of 30 points and the winner's trophy from the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. Important as that might be, it's almost a secondary consideration, isn't it? Because the championship is what we are here for. That's where we're focused on. Jimmy Clary has the best view of the championship contenders. Clear track in front of him, minus Johnson Park, of course, on pole position. Big opportunity for the Frenchman. Final cars then lining up at the back of the grid. Julien Brichet in the number 4 is the last of the 24 cars. The green flag waves at the back of the field. The lights go on and the lights will go off. And we will be go for finals day here in TCR Europe. At the front of the field, everybody gets away from the line. Clary a little bit slow off of the marks. The 21 of brother Jimmy trying to buy into that one as well. Jimmy up into 3rd position. Teddy holds on to that 2nd place. There's Eric Genet having a look, having a think, but Teddy to the inside doesn't have the room all the way around the outside. Look at Eric Genet. That is a wild manoeuvre through the first section of corners. Has to go off the racetrack to the escape road, does Eric. He'll rejoin. Be careful on the rejoin. Everybody slides back into the snake very nicely indeed, but it is your race leader, Johnson Park, at this moment in time. Everybody behind, though, climbing over the top of each other to try and find an advantage. Biggest advantage gainer, though, is that man, Eric Genet, up to 3rd position. He's got Janui Park in the having a look to the inside. Jenson Brickley vulnerable on the outside line. Not the optimal position you want to find yourself if you're Jenson Brickley. He needs to have a finish, and he needs to have a finish with a big haul of points. That's going to be difficult, though, as Ruben Volts navigated his way through the running order. Great start for Ruben. Started from 9th position. He's the form man here in Barcelona, and he's immediately showing that pace. As in the middle of the pack, a little bit of dust kicked up from one of our drivers, but no problem. There is Ruben Volt exploring the racetrack and a little bit more as well. Survives on this occasion in 5th position. A little bit further back, we see the squabble between Fernandez and Victor Anderson. There is Nico Baldan in there as well. Janui Park also involved. Janui was quite far up the running order a few moments ago, but he's had a bit of drama, dropped down a few positions. The timing screen hopefully will update itself in the commentary box in the not too distant future, but it is Jun-Sung Park that leads from Teddy Claret, Eric Genet and Jimmy Claret on the opening lap. Marco Bucci makes advantage as well, moves up through the order, gains a couple of positions. Rennie Kirsch's dropped one on this opening tour as well. Here we go, look at this, it's beautiful scenes, isn't it? A full field of TCR Europe cars heading down into T1. That is Victor Anderson from Jaco Gamandi. Gamandi to the outside line in the Honda. Anderson on the inside in the Lincoln Co. And it's advantage. Victor holds on to, unlucky for some, position number 13. Great bit of racing. Distraught was Victor Anderson after qualifying. Felt there was more pace in that car. Had a great race one. He'll be hoping for more of the same in this final dance here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, although it does look a little bit like the race is running away from the Swedish driver. Not so, though, at the head of the pack, as Jun-Sung Park looking very comfortable. Indeed, the hard work has been completed. He's got the car away from the line, he's defended on the opening lap, and now it's a case of trying to extract pace from that Solite Indigo Racing Hyundai Elantra and TCR, as Teddy Claret doing a great job in second position so far. This is exactly what Teddy needs for his championship charge. But there's a lot of racing between now and when we do the final mathematical calculations. A little bit further back, we see a squabble down the running order. But at the front of the field, everybody's behaving so far, aren't they? As Marco Bucci and Max Hart go side by side. Julian Brichet almost loses a nose to a very enthusiastic Nick Taylor. And there is Bucci. Makes the job, makes the overtake. Gamandi behind. Trying again side by side with Victor Anderson, but Victor inside line, advantage held, position held, stays in 13th, Gamandi in 14th, and then the rest of the field climbing over the top of each other behind. To the final corner we go then to break the timing beam. Last time around, fastest lap of the race for Jun-Sung Park, 1:50.285. It's looking comfortable, isn't it, for the number 97? Not so well a little bit further back though, as there is the ALM Motorsports Honda Civic under pressure from Felipe Fernandez. Rennie Kirscher covers the inside line, but it's a bit tentative on the brakes. Around the outside goes Fernandez. That's a very accomplished overtake indeed. Fernandez now 8th, Kirscher down to 9th position. Another one lost for him. Nico Baldan as well in a little bit of strife off screen, loses a place and drops down into 10th position. As we see the field wind their way through. 20 minutes 34 seconds plus a lap on the clock. Plenty of racing action, but as things stand, it is advantage to Teddy Claret. Holds on to that second place, but take a look at this one, folks. There's a very enthusiastic looking Eric Genet behind, isn't it? Jimmy needs to buy into this one. This is vital for the Claret Sport team. Both brothers, neither minds who of them wins as long as it's one of them in the title. Well, Jimmy could do his brother a very big favour indeed if he could just get engaged into the rear of the Monlau Motorsports Cupra VZ ahead. Eric Genet very much on a charge in this one. Didn't have a great race one. He's fighting very hard indeed though. Provisional bottom step of the podium so far for Eric, but there is the little look. That's the telltale sign. Just that fill the mirrors of the car in front is exactly what Jimmy Claret is doing. Allow Ted to make it so Eric has to focus more on what's happening behind than what is going on in front, and that is exactly what Jimmy Claret is doing at this moment in time. Ruben Volt keeping a watching brief as well. Ruben, form-man, as mentioned, here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. I dare say it's not going to be too long until the Estonian driver can navigate his way past Jimmy Claret, and perhaps that's maybe the strategy of choice for Jimmy. Allow Ruben to bolt on ahead, get engaged in Eric Genet, get engaged in his brother, and see if that can try and unpick an opportunity. Opportunity, though, knocks for sure a little bit further back. Nico Baldan hard on the defensive from fellow Italian Marco Bucci. Bucci can't quite find a way past on this occasion and has to redouble his efforts down there in 11th position. Sadly, championship charge now is fading away very quickly for Marco. I think that is unfortunate at the end of his 2025 title aspirations. So with 18 minutes and 40 on the clock, if it finishes like this, then Teddy Claret will be the champion, 4 points ahead of Genet and Brickley in position number 2. If Genet passes Teddy, he's on course for the championship. So that is We like this one. This is easy maths. Eric must overtake. That's the name of the game, and that's when Jimmy needs to really help his brother out now by getting involved with Eric Genet. That fight for second, third, and fourth positions, arguably fifth as well, with Ruben Volt in there, is intense. This is what, essentially, the entire season boils down to, these final 18 minutes. This is what these drivers have trained for, practiced for, dreamt about, focused on, worked through in their mind, been on the simulator, been in the workshop. It's all for this exact moment in time, and so far so good for Teddy Claret. But Eric Genet, Jimmy Claret, Ruben Volt, and even Jenson Brickley would all be very interested indeed about trying to get involved in this one. Jenson, by the way, down to 6th place. Last time around, a 1 minute 50.6. So in and around the kind of pace of those ahead of him. But it's not been a great start to the race for the British driver at all. And this is really hurting his championship prospects. He's going to have to find a bit more pace. Ruben Volt's the next man up the road. But as we well know, Ruben is rapid round here. We'll come back to that one, though, because here we go again with Marco Butti and Nico Baldan. Just as we saw last time, Nico covers the inside line, gets the car stop, has to run off the racetrack though. He will rejoin perhaps. Race control might want to take a look at that one, but Nico Baldan, for now at least, holds on to that 10th position just ahead of Marco Butti. Victor Anderson dropping back a little into the clutches of Gamandi behind. So far so good then for Johnson Park, isn't it? Being a very nice start to the race for him. 1.4 seconds is the advantage to the chasing pack after 4 laps in the books. 1 minute 50.9 last time around, so Johnson Park is the quickest man in this leading gaggle of cars. The important thing is, though, Teddy Claret doesn't need to win the race outright. What he needs to do is finish ahead of his rivals, get the points over the likes of Eric Genet and Jenson Brickley. Jenson came into this one 5 points ahead of Teddy. Well, that one's dropping away from the 246 now, isn't it? There you see with the highlighted colours. In fact, come back to that one because Baldan and Butti, round number 12, it seems, of this particular battle. And once again, the outside line didn't work for Marco Butti. The inside line looks a whole lot more appealing, and Marco Butti is through. Great move there. Max Hart enjoyed that one. He'd quite like to have a little go of that himself, and immediately throws the nose to the inside line. He's going to have to run into the final corner. He'll have the advantage, and Max Hart dispossesses Nico Baldan of that particular place. Hart up into 11th, Baldan dropping down into 12th position. Next man on the list to have a little nibble at the ICOA racing nowadays will be Victor Anderson in the Straight Line Speed Limited, shall we say, Lincoln Co. MAGP machine. There is Anderson, opportunistic, nose to the inside, doesn't have the overlap though on the Audi, but will have to sit tight, just waiting for the opportunity, just trying to wriggle out a mistake from the cars in front as Gamandi makes a mistake right on cue. Rejoins very nicely indeed, but Victor Anderson should have an overlap to take away that 13th position. There is Rafael Fournier, by the way, carrying damage, having been repaired from the start line incident in the yellow car in the background. Great to see JSB managing to get that car back out for a final roll of the dice in this last race of the 2025 racing season. Last time around, by the way, Teddy Claret closed the gap ever so slightly at the head of the pack. That's now 1.2 seconds between Johnson Park and the Frenchman. Still an opportunity for Teddy to potentially close that gap and put things almost out of reach. If he can take the race victory, that's the easiest way to ensure championship success. Win the race. Easier said than done, though, that one, isn't it? And for Teddy, at this moment in time, he'll be more concerned about Eric Genet and Jimmy Claret, Ruben Volt behind. Ruben been a little bit cautious over the course of the opening few laps. I think he's had a great start to get up there into 5th position, but perhaps the young Estonian driver, highly mindful of the drivers ahead of them, are fighting for the championship and doesn't want to become too much of a fly in the ointment and too aggressive with his rivals. You don't want to be involved in somebody else's fight. I think Ruben Volt is perhaps employing a little bit more discretion on this occasion than we've seen in previous rounds, knowing just what's at stake for all drivers concerned. Jimmy Park in the background, under pressure. New livery this weekend, collaboration with team sponsor Peaches. They raced it in Asia a couple of weeks ago. They've kept it on for the final round of TCR Europe, and it does look absolutely resplendent, I must say. Gabriele Corvini in the background has a quick look to the inside of Raphael Fournier. Corvini gets the job done. Great stuff for the BRC Racing. Hyundai Elantra, Julien Brichet, next man up the road. It's been a good couple of races for the young Italian Gabriele Corvini, hasn't it? Came in at TCR Europe mid-season, and he's been very impressive indeed. Lovely, likeable young man. Got a big future in touring cars. I am absolutely sure as Jinui Park has a big future in defending from Felipe Fernandez. So it appears a little bit further down the running order. 12 minutes then, 46 seconds plus a singular lap are on the clock, and it is very firmly looking like a Johnson Park benefit. At the head of the field, 1.2 seconds is the advantage for the Korean driver. In the number 97, there we go, passing through shot right about now goes Johnson Park, but behind it is Teddy, Eric Genet, Jimmy and Ruben Volt. Volt still staying on the back of Jimmy Claret. To be honest, what Jimmy needs at this moment in time is let Ruben pass and let him start having a bit of a nibble at the back of Eric Genet, see if he can try and disturb the Spanish driver, force him into a bit of an error, and see if an opportunity can be wrestled away by Jimmy, currently in that 4th position. Sounds very easy, doesn't it, on paper, but in the heat of the battle, you really don't want to give anything to your rival. So Jimmy keeping a watching brief on that. Johnson Park of Victor Fernandez almost as one. Felipe Fernandez, my apology. Almost as one to the final corner. Felipe has the drag race inside line. Down into T1. Oh, almost contact between the two of them as well. That's a little bit Prost and Senna-esque. 1991 Prost and Mansell even. But in touring cars, Felipe Fernandez gets it done. Gets the job done, takes the position away. And Rene Kirscher enjoyed that one and has a little piece of the pie all for himself as well. Great stuff there for Rene. Opportunistic move. Gets the job done, does the German driver, and moves up a position. Johnson Park struggling a little bit at this stage, it seems. Sorry, Jinui Park at this stage, it seems, with pace in that Hyundai Elantra head. He drops down to 7th, 8th position after all of those changes. Teammate Johnson Park, though, doing a very nice job with 7 laps on the books. He's got now a 1.5 second, nearly 1.6 second advantage from Teddy Claret at the front of the field. It's been a strong performance, hasn't it, from Park? And they need this one, don't they? They've had such a good season. First year in TCR Europe, raced in Italy for a couple of seasons previously, and team and driver always show good pace. Forget about that one, though. Well, look at this one. Ruben Volt's decided, I've had enough of watching what's going on here. Now's the time to get the elbows out, and so he does. That's a very clean overtake indeed for the 27. Jimmy Claret almost caught napping a little, methinks. The LM Motorsport Honda driver sidles his way through the Audi, makes his way past, bumps himself up in a 4th position. Now, this is going to be absolutely vital for the championship. Can Ruben Volt find any kind of pace, any kind of gap to make his way past Eric Genet? Eric needs all of the points on offer and a little bit more for this championship. He can ill afford to make a mistake. He cannot afford to allow that number 27 to find a way past. And if he does, will that leverage an opportunity for Jimmy behind? Jimmy's going to glue himself to the back of that Honda rear bumper in the hope, in the dream, in the prayer that maybe, just maybe, Ruben Volt can disturb Eric Genet enough to make a mistake and maybe open the door for an Audi-sized gap in which Jimmy Claret can insert himself. We'll keep our eyes on that. We'll have a look at this one. Ruben Volt now. Positions being gained, starting to close the gap, and that Honda, visually, you don't even need to look at the clocks, do you? Visually, Ruben Volt looks quicker around this racetrack than anybody in this leading gaggle of cars. Volt, he's very mindful, is Ruben, that there is a championship on the line, but knowing Ruben as I do, I'm sure he'll care not one iota about that fight. He'll be only interested in the result for himself, his team, and for Honda. Of course, he'll play fair. Of course, he's not going to be too aggressive, but he's categorically not going to hold back just because the drivers he's racing with are in mathematical contention for the 2025 TCR Europe champion. Keep our eye on Vol. The car, the turning, doesn't it? Just looks so much better. The front end so much more positive on the Honda compared to Eric Genet's Cooper ahead. It's got an air of inevitability about it, doesn't it? That Ruben Volt's going to find a way past. But for Eric Genet, the big question he wants to ask himself is just how big is the appetite to defend from Ruben Volt? How much risk is he willing to take? And when I say risk, I don't mean risk of an accident. Of course, that's always never present. I mean risk of making himself vulnerable to an assault from Jimmy behind. And of course, also Jenson Brickley a little bit further back. We've not spoken much of the number 246, Jenson. Not quite on the pace of those cars ahead, but still hanging on to the coattails of this leading pack, waiting for opportunities to present themselves. He finished second in race number 1 with an opportunistic drive. More of the same again would be very well received for the British driver, but it does feel a little bit like the pendulum is swinging away from him and more into the favour of Jimmy Claret. Eric Genet ahead. Indicators on then for Genet. That's an intelligent bit of driving, isn't it? He knows he's going to be fighting a losing battle from Ruben Volt. So managing the situation, dictating the situation, letting Ruben past. That's a clever bit of driving there from Eric Genet. Absolutely zero benefit whatsoever to fight that one and hemorrhage time to those around. And there we go. There's the replay of the incident. Great stuff from our broadcast director. Very, very mature manoeuvre there from Eric Genet. Young man, 18 years old. Very, very much learning his trade, even though he's been very successful indeed. And that's some intelligent racecraft from Eric Genet. What it does mean, though, is he's now very much back in a slow waltz with Jimmy Claret behind. Jimmy going to be more than a little bit enthusiastic, shall we say, of trying to find a way past. We'll keep our eyes on that one. Can Ruben Volt do anything about Teddy Claret ahead of him to jump up in a second position? 6.5 minutes plus a single lap remains, so time is most certainly running out for all of our drivers. And as things stand, it will be Teddy that takes the crown if nothing changes between now and the checkered flag. 6 minutes and a lap in a touring car race and no change? Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen either, do you? Plenty of racing still to go, plenty of drama still to go, plenty of stories still to be told in TCR Europe. 1.9 seconds now is the advantage for Johnson Park at the head of the field. This has been a great performance, hasn't it? Last time around a 152.2. Quicker than those around him, but a couple of seconds away from the ultimate pace. With the temperature starting to build here in Barcelona, tyre life starting to play a little bit more. Another chapter to be written in this story will be tyre life. Who can manage that one best? Who set their car up to account for this situation? Ruben Volt set his car up to go as fast as humanly possible, it seems, and it's working rather nicely as he's getting very, very close to the back of Teddy Claret ahead. Ruben spending a couple of corners, just assessing where the Audi is strong and weak versus the Honda underneath him. Assessing just how much appetite Teddy has for adopting a defensive stance. And then, when he feels the time is right, and quite frankly, that feels like it might be about now, he'll pull the pin and go for the manoeuvre. Had a little think about it, does Volt. Stronger on the middle pedal there. That car stopping a lot more efficiently than the Audi in front. So Volt, maximum confidence, he said, coming into the weekend. Well, he got pole position, he got a dominant race 1 victory, starting from 9th on the grid. They'll be keen to try and repeat that one. Johnson Park, though, needs to push on a little bit. The 2-second gap's a lot, but when you've got pace like Ruben Volt, if he can find his way past and be clear of Teddy Claret, it does feel like that ALM Motorsports Honda Civic perhaps may have just enough pace to close down that 2-second gap to the cars in front. Back in shot, Genui Park under a world of pain, it seems. Defending very, very, very hard indeed. Marco Butti being the one trying to find a way past. Trailing all the way to the inside, leading to the very last minute to go around the outside line. Genui, though, wise to this one, has it covered, and for now holds on to that 9th position. There is the new livery that I was talking about. Looks really good. Just the Soul-like livery on the Hyundai Elantra. It's not helping him any in this battle, though, is it, for Genui Park? Very much under pressure from Marco Butti. Marco's been a strong driver, actually. It's nice to see that the car seems to be running relatively cleanly at this moment in time. It's obviously a dreadfully disappointing conclusion to 2025 for Marco Butti, joint championship leader. It's just not gone the way at all of the Triple One. 16th in qualifying, 19th in race number 1. But for Marco, if he can end the season on a positive note and a good race and a couple of overtakes and a strong top 10, is I know he's scratching around for positives, but a reasonably positive way to end the year. Reasonably positive way to end the year for Claire, though. Have a look at that one. Had a little look to the inside of Eric Genet, did Jimmy. Couldn't quite find a way past on that occasion, but Jimmy Claire now starting to show all of the signs of a man who wants to take that 4th position away. There we go. We'll cycle back up to our leaders as they run through your shot. Jenson Brickley starting to become slightly detached now to the cars ahead. There's the battle pack between Park and Butti. Marco seesawing at the wheel to keep the MM Motorsports Honda Civic Type R FL5 on the racing surface, and does so with quite a bit of flair. Jenson Brickley under big pressure from Felipe Fernandez. Man possessed Felipe Fernandez this weekend, isn't he? Great performance from the RC2 Honda driver on home soil. Very, very strong in every single session. And he's doing another sterling job up there in 7th position. And Harry in the back of the British driver, Marco Butti, has his 4,000th attempt to find a way past Park, it seems. But Giannouille doing a fabulous defensive drive, it has to be said. Showing no weaknesses, no signs of mistakes or any kind of advantage being leveraged to Butti behind. By the way, off camera, Julien Brichet sadly has come down pit lane, so yet more problems for the blue JSB competition driver. Julien Brichet back again in TCR Europe in 2025. I think it's fair to say it's not quite been the season that Timor driver were hoping for. But again, sometimes you learn more from the bad times than you do from the good, and I'm sure Julien Brichet has certainly learnt plenty this season. Hopefully we see him again in 2026. And maybe we can look for a bit of a stronger campaign from team and driver. Strong campaign, though, from Jimmy to the inside of Eric Genet. I think he might just have got that one done as well as Genet. Very reluctant to close the door. Yes, he has. Jimmy Claire gets the position. Genet's running wide. Genet in strife. There is Jenson Brickley. He makes it past. Felipe Fernandez as well. Sees this fight, buys into this fight. Fernandez, though, just runs out of racing room. Can't make the position gained. But what has happened to Eric Genet from 4th on the grid? Was it a mistake? Is it an issue? We do not know. We'll find that one out. But the result we know for sure is Eric Genet drops down into 6th position. Furious mathematical calculations need to be made. But I think we have got a very important manoeuvre indeed for this championship. Ruben Volt then up in a 2nd. Teddy in 3rd. Jimmy in 4th, Jenson Brickley now in 5th position, and Eric Genet unbelievably drops down into 6th. If the flag is waved now and the race comes to a conclusion, it will be Jenson Brickley who's our champion by 1 point. Unbelievable stuff here in TCR Europe. Jenson Brickley then up in a 5th place. He's not shown the pace he was hoping for at the course of this race, but a little bit of team play potentially may have been to hand there to give Jenson the opportunity to try and take away that Drivers' Championship. And I tell you something, if that's the case, it is absolutely working a treat. Felipe Fernandez climbing over the back of Eric Genet. We saw this one in the previous race. Didn't end particularly well. Let's hope it's a little bit smarter this time around. Ruben Volt then up in his 2nd place. We predicted he'd charge his way through the positions. Well, he's been a little bit more cautious than I expected. But still up there in 2nd position. There's Genet and Fernandez almost coming together. Fernandez, I think, got the inside line, did he? Yes, he did. There's Felipe to the inside of the RC2 Junior car, just behind the shot that we're looking at there. The outside line becomes the inside line for Genet, and Genet just about holding on to this one. Contact once, contact twice. A nice day at the beach in Barcelona for Fernandez. And Rene Kirscher thinks, oh, that one looked a little bit rough for my liking. I think I'll hang behind Felipe and just see how this one goes. Final lap then. Final lap of the race. Final lap of the season. Final opportunity for change. Incredible stuff here in TCR Europe. Young Park leads the pack from Ruben Volt. 2.4 seconds is the advantage. Teddy Clary and Jimmy Clary are third and fourth position. Jenson Brickley, though, crucially is in that fifth place. If nothing changes, it's going to be a single point advantage for Jenson Brickley and the title. Eric Jeunet, by the way, has a track limits penalty. So that has very much put the Spanish driver well and truly out of contention for this one. Jenson Brickley, he picked up the pieces from race number one, did the English driver. Scored a very, very important second place. It's fair to say coming in to race two, pace did not look like it was there, but for various circumstances falling in his favour. It was clean, it was sensible, it was a good race from Jenson Brickley, done exactly what he needs to do. And this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is how championships are made. Team orders in Monlau Motorsport allow Brickley to take that position away so he can have his chance at winning the championship. But we'll come back to that one, because at the head of the pack, Young Park through the final corner for Solite Indigo Racing on the last race of the season will take the checkered flag, and with it his first victory in TCR Europe. Ruben Volt in second. It is Teddy and Jimmy Clary third and fourth, but your provisional 2025 TCR Europe champion is Jenson Brickley for Monlau Motorsports. He comes home in fifth place, and by a provisional, let's caveat this one, always provisional until the stewards and final results have been made, but it is Jenson Brickley, car number 246 in his debut season in TCR Europe, who brings home the biggest prize of all. Jenson Brickley, with all of the pressure in the world upon the young 21-year-old shoulders, has delivered the kind of performance that championships are made from. He's done exactly what he needed to do, exactly when he needed to do it. He was millimetre precise off of the line, stayed out of trouble, stayed out of drama. He's waving now. He knows that this is the championship done and dusted. And what a performance it was. He took victory in race number 2 at Portimao for the opening weekend of the season. He won again at the Red Bull Ring last time out. And now Jenson Brickley, with 5th position, becomes our provisional TCR Europe 2025 champion. And what a champion he will be. Fantastic stuff all the way through. Monlau Motorsports secure their second Drivers' Championship in a row, having taken the title, of course, in 2024 with Franco Girolami. It's a new look Monlau Motorsports this year, 2 brand new drivers, but at the end of the day, the very same story at the top of the Drivers' Championship. It'll be a man in red that'll be on the podium celebrating. It'll be a man in Solite Indigo Blue that'll be on the podium celebrating his first victory in TCR Europe as well. Young Park, an incredible performance. If I remember correctly, the team was saying at Red Bull Ring, they go to Barcelona, they want podium at the absolute minimal. That was Janui on that occasion. Well, teammate Young has delivered on that one and more again. An absolutely commanding race victory at the head of the pack. Started on the reverse grid pole position, did the hard work off of the line, got away from the chasing pack, cleared the warring Clare brothers, cleared the threat of the very fast Ruben Volt, made no mistakes, and the reward for him will be a very, very sweet tasting race victory indeed. Special guests, of course, as always, for Solite Indigo Racing are here this weekend as well. So to do it in front of their celebrity guests and important people and VIPs is all the more sweet. And quite frank, Solite absolutely deserve this race victory. They've been a really, really, really welcome addition to the TCR Europe paddock in 2025. Great bunch of people, great team. Lovely personalities and two wonderful, wonderful drivers. Don't you just love to see this? This is pure sport and emotion. This is drivers absolutely delivering on what their lifelong dreams are. And hugs all round, cheers all round, and applause. A great, great performance from Yun-Sung Park, and a very, very deserving race victory indeed. Beautiful stuff for him. Beautiful stuff for the Solide Indigo Racing team as well. Finally, that victory they've been asking for, but here you go. There's your provisional champion, Jenson Brickley, atop his car. This is going to mean more than you can possibly imagine for that young man. He's a fabulous guy. He's Jenson, lovely family, lovely group of people he has around him. At the weekend, there's Katie's girlfriend getting straight in there for a massive, massive hug. I cannot say how much this is going to mean to Jenson Brickley. Look at this one. Hugs all around for the team. Came in to TCR Europe this season as a learning exercise, wanted success, of course, but it was all about taking the learnings that he possibly could. And so he did it. Champion, provisional, of course. Right then. While Jenson Brickley's celebrating, I think we can all take a moment's breather, can't we? Because that's been quite the frantic race. Absolutely brilliant stuff from JB. Okay then, right, I do believe that Neil Cole has our race winner down there in Parc Fermé. So let's head down to Neil to talk to Yun-Sung Park.
Yun-Sung, we can see how much that means to you from your celebrations. Tell us what that race was like to end the season.
I'm really happy to winning this race. The race was a season final race, so I'm really happy. And then I want to say thank you all our team guys and then the sponsors. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Fabulous, fabulous stuff there. Yun-Sung Park taking his first victory in TCR Europe. And he's a very reserved young man. Stock one for wild celebrations, but I've got a feeling at the end of season party this evening, maybe a bit of celebrating going on there amongst several of our drivers, not least of which is our new provisional champion, Jenson Brickley. We're looking forward to seeing a bit more of Jenson in a few moments' time as they get ready for the podium celebrations, and we'll have a look as well at our provisional race results. For race number 2, Yun-Sung Park is your winner, 1.9 seconds ahead of Ruben Volt. Teddy Clary rounds out the final podium of 2025. Brother Jimmy just behind in 4th position. All eyes, though, on P5 and Jenson Brickley, who does enough to provisionally secure the 2025 championship. Felipe Fernandez, René Kirscher, Eric Genet, Marco Butti and Jindui Park round out the final top 10 of the season as we head back down to Neil Cole.
So with the caveat of provisional, you are the TCR Europe champion 2025. It wasn't the most easy race to sign off the season.
No. I was struggling from the middle to the end. I mean, I don't know if I told anyone on the interviews yesterday, but we were struggling quite bad with oversteer on entry, and we thought we'll change some things, it's going to be cooler, and yeah, it just turned into understeer. So I was struggling from probably about lap 6, but yeah, firstly I want to say thank you to Eric, because without him then it wouldn't have happened. So yeah, the team orders came in and it was perfect. Obviously the year hasn't been perfect, we've had ups and downs, but we're here. So yeah, it feels amazing to win TCR Europe on debut. Yeah, it's amazing. Just want to say thank you to Racing Lines, RHI Service, Pump Supplies, JBS Commercials, and of course Monlau.
Well, enjoy the title.
Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic stuff there for Jenson Brickley. Just look at that one. Emotion absolutely bubbling to the surface. But every professional has just enough time to thank all the sponsors that make these things happen as well. Jenson Brickley, as I say, debut season in TCR Europe. A couple of victories behind him as well. It's been a very... And 2 victories in 12 races. Doesn't sound like a big number, does it? But when it's been 12 races and 8 different winners... 9 different winners. In fact, while we're waiting for the podium, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the race that we have just enjoyed. We started off with a high level of tension of the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, these drivers knew exactly what this final race of the season means. A reverse grid is always one where there are dramas out on track, and at the head of the pack, Johnson Park did perfect work to get away from the line and get an early advantage from the chasing pack. A little bit further down, there were several drivers jostling for position, but everybody made it through the opening few laps without too much drama. Nico Baldan, Marco Butte had a hard fight in the middle of the field, but they survived. My apologies for that. For the first time in history, we were very quick with the podium celebrations and got the drivers up there as Johnson Park celebrating. It means a lot to this team. Remember, they raced in Korea, then they came over internationally, raced in TCR Italy, took victories as well there, but the whole team have come here on the European stage as we see the trophies to be awarded. That's a very, very upset looking Teddy Clare. The heart absolutely goes out to Teddy. He thought he had this championship. Pepe Oriola, ambassador for Carpe Diem, hands out second place trophies for Ruben Volt. Good drive from Ruben. A first and a second place in a reverse grid competition is deeply impressive indeed. Marcello Lotte, president of WSC, is the man responsible for giving Johnson Park his race victory trophy. And that one will be very sweet in the collection, I am absolutely certain. Great stuff indeed. Ruben Fernandez, TCR Europe promoter, up on the podium there as well to hand out the winning team's trophy. Solite Indigo Racing. It's been a great season, hasn't it, for Solite Indigo Racing, it has to be said. And then the next trophy to be handed out will be for our diamond competitor. There we go, live streaming as always, Jack Ogamande. Wonderful, wonderful personality. 2 diamond trophy victories in a row then here at Barcelona. He takes his place on the top step of the podium. Trophy for Gamande will be issued by Marcello Lotti again. Oh, in fact, my apologies, sorry, that's for the youth trophy winner, which goes the way of Ruben Volt in second position. Ruben, always impassive. And then Ruben Fernandez, TCR Europe promoter, for Jacopo Gamandi's diamond trophy victory. Good stuff there for Gamande. It's been a good weekend, hasn't it, for the Italian driver? 2 diamond trophy victories, came into the season towards the end of the year, and again just showing how he's increasing his competitiveness each and every event in which he participates in. Now, why the delay, I hear you ask? I think we're trying to fish out our new champion, aren't we? And then bringing him to the podium. So when Jensen's finished being slapped on the back and shaking hands and hugged and kissed and everything else that comes with it, he'll be making his merry way up onto the top step of the podium and be able to celebrate in fine style. Heading together then for the family photo. Our 3 drivers getting ready to get that champagne sprayed and celebrate what has been not only a fabulous weekend of racing, but an absolutely incredible 2025 racing season. Trophies down. Oh, Ruben Bolt doesn't want any of that one, does he? He's out of there. Our 2 race winners take their champagne in style. Jack Ogamande, winner of the Diamond Trophy. Johnson Park, winner overall for the very first time in TCR Europe. Yep, Ruben's back for his champagne. That'll be nice for the motorsports team. And there we go. There is our podium then, folks. So let's try again and have a look at the highlights from race 2, round 6 of TCR Europe. So we started as the sun began to beat down on the Barcelona circuit and the pressure rose out on track. In fact, I'm hearing live that our champion's now on the podium. So if we can cut from the highlight, please, back to the podium for a moment to our broadcast director. There we go. Apologies. We'll get these highlights in, I promise. And there is Jenson Brickley, our provisional 2025 TCR Europe champion. Ruben Fernandez gives him the winner's victory laurel. And there is a smile as wide as it can possibly be. A man as happy as he will ever likely be. Daddy, and no doubt, is watching on. Family all watching on. He's got Katie's girlfriend with him. He's got friends and family here on track. And the Monlau Motorsport team have really got behind their young British charge. And there is Jenson Brickley. Having a little bit of a drink, don't do too much of those. We're going to party a little bit later on, Jenson, and I'm going to buy you a gin and tonic. What a performance for that young man. What a result. The feeling to have achieved your lifetime goal must be something just spectacular. And for Jenson Brickley, I dare say he doesn't really even quite have it sink in how important this very, very moment is indeed. But for Jenson, today's going to be a day that's going to go down in history for the rest of his life as an absolute superstar. He's heading off to the media centre then to go and do the end of race press conference. And no doubt take a few moments, a little beat to himself to try and understand just how significant his day's work has been. Well, did you enjoy that one, everybody? I know I did. It was rather spectacular, wasn't it? It's always a worrying time coming into a championship final that everything's going to play fair and play well. Well, everybody played absolutely wonderful indeed. It was good, it was fair, and at the end of the day, Jenson Brickley was the one that came out with the biggest advantage of all. Right then, now, finally, it is time to say goodbye. 2025 has been an incredible season. TCR Europe, I said it in Portimao, and I'm going to say it again in Barcelona. TCR Europe is back, it is bigger, and it is better than ever before. And mark my words, folks at home, this is just the beginning. If we could set this season up this quickly, and it was as good as it was, you can only begin to imagine what 2026 is going to be like. From myself, Paul Jeffrey, from Ruben Fernandez, the TCR Europe promoter, and from the whole team in TCR Europe, it has been an honour, a privilege, and a pleasure to bring you this season, and we look forward to seeing you all again in 2026. Thank you for watching. Take care. God bless and goodbye.